All right. Test.
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 Wearing this shirt this evening again. I'm wearing a Rolling Stone shirt.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get into our Ask an Idiot question of the week here. Big new album news. The Rolling Stones have announced they are releasing a brand new album that will come out in October. It's going to be called Hackney Diamonds.
It's too loud. Turn it down.
And Hackney Diamonds is basically it's slang for it's like you're breaking, if you break in, you break the glass when you're burglarizing a home. That's you kind of break, you have diamonds left over or something. And Hackney was a neighborhood in London, apparently. So the first album they've made since their original drummer has passed away, Charlie Watts. So you know what? I'm interested to hear this album. Yeah, it's getting very good initial reviews. That it's one of their better albums in many years. They haven't had a new album out since, let's see here, 2016, something like that. So that was their blues album that they released in 2016. But they haven't had a traditional Stones album in several years. So I guess one question is if you're interested in this album. But beyond that, in our Ask an Idiot segment this week, is there a band out there? You can name a couple. There's no set number here. But are there any bands out there that still are around? Now, this is not a story. This is not a question where you could resurrect people from, the grave or something like that. You would like to hear. There's plenty of bands would have liked to have heard new music from that just didn't do it, and some people are, just passed on to it. But this is today. So this is some artists. It might be older. Some of the artists in the original band might have passed away, but there were still members of the band that still are around that could, like the Rolling Stones, that could replace a member and still produce some new music. So just interested also if there's any bands out there that you would love to hear some type of new music from them today. So Dean, why don't we start with you? You can talk about the Stones if you want to, if you're interested in this album. And then you can name at least one of your bands that you'd like to hear new music from now. Go ahead.
Yeah, as far as Rolling Stones go, it's one of those where I really don't care. To hear new music from them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, good for them for
Sure.
keep going and more power to them, more power to their fans and whatnot. But I'm a casual fan, right? But I did think about this question. It's kind of hard because I don't really listen to a whole lot of like newer music or like somebody that would put out newer music, right?
Okay.
Like the bands that I have listened to in the past, like my 20s. I'm sure they're still putting out new music. I just don't listen to it, right? But okay. I did compile a couple things. Like the one, I don't know if you guys know the band. It was from like the early 2000s. It was Aiden's Valentine.
I don't know if you guys are Valentine?
No, Aiden. Aiden's Valentine.
No, I'm not.
I've heard of that band. I've actually heard of that band.
That band, it was two guys. It was actually myself and Aaron Blake with Blake Insurance. You see, Blake Insurance
Aqua Summer demo tape. Is that correct?
That is true. That was actually the album. Erie Insurance Blake Insurance is an Erie insurance agency located right here in Barberton, Ohio. They provide auto, home, renters, and business insurance with honesty, decency, and affordability. Erie Insurance is above all else in service. You want to call 234-571-5359 or visit BlakeInsuranceLLC.com for your free quote today. And when you do call him for your free quote, tell him that the idiot sent you and have him play you a little ditty. Maybe he might play you the intro to this podcast.
Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
The Aqua Summer demo tape is incredibly rare and difficult to find. So
it is.
be sure to scour the internet for it.
I wish I did.
He does. I've heard it from him.
Okay.
Like he's got it on his computer. I know he has it.
So
Or,
Ryan,
I mean,
just
he
let
did,
you know that
he
was
did
a
have it
band
at one point.
that was kind of a one summer. Aaron and I got together and kind of dicked around with writing songs and recording them. So we have like a half-assed album that him and I did of original songs. But the best one that we cannot, to this day, him and I cannot find it. We got hammered one night, and we wanted to cover "Sitting on the Dock of the Bay."
Mm-hmm.
It is the most cringe-worthy, ridiculous sounding piece of music you've ever heard. Unfortunately, it has lost the time. I wish I could find it. I would play it for you now. But it is gone.
We'll be selling a box set on the website here soon, guys. It's going to be the demo tape and the remastered demo tape, and then the a video wrestling living room wrestling video. That's
a lot of money to pay. That's a lot of money to pay.
It's out of this world. It's finest. It's one of the finest. If you enjoy
the Lost Boys sessions,
and who doesn't enjoy living room wrestling?
Well, sure.
Right? That you will thoroughly enjoy this video. Yes, the young Dean and his brother and other people. Yes, it's fantastic.
With entrance themes from Corn Shark, a Valentine.
Right, callback.
But yeah, I'm going to stick with Amy Valentine. I would love to get with Aaron Blake and make some more beautiful music. So
yes, indeed. Okay,
what about you guys? Who's next?
Nick, go ahead. You give me one.
What one? Somebody I'd like to hear from?
Well, you can mention the Stones if you want to first. Sorry, and then and then give me a band that you want to hear music from.
So Stones, like Dean said, good for them. They're still doing it. I don't honestly. This is a very horrible thing to say out loud. I know a lot of.
You could be racist.
I know a lot of Rolling Stones songs. I don't know that I've ever listened to any of their albums from front to back. I don't know that I've ever heard an entire Rolling Stones album.
I don't know that I have either, to be honest with you. It's been a long time. It's been a long time I have.
So you're just a poser in a Hot Topic shirt then, Brian?
I like a lot of their music, but no, you're right. But that is a band I should go back and listen to more of their library. Well, my dad had albums around the house.
Yeah,
and stuff.
I'm familiar with a lot of their stuff from the radio. They have many songs on the radio, and I'm very familiar with their sound and the songs that are theirs. But yeah, as far as to go listen, if I were to go listen to their new album that came out, which I'm not opposed to doing, it would be the first Rolling Stones album I've ever heard from cover to cover.
Well, a lot of them cover to cover, front to back are like really, big albums. Kind of like the shirt Brian's wearing. From front to back is really big.
That's right. That's right.
It's because he works out.
Thank you, Nick.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Is that what we're calling those man tits?
I will say this was, at first, when you brought it up, I'm like, wow, great topic, whatever, good idea. And then, as I found, I really had to reach to find one. Reason being, so many bands continue to tour and make music for so long, some to a fault, and even a lot of bands that have been away for long, that I have loved for years, that I would have put on this list a couple years. I guess I could still include them because it almost seemed sacrilegious until this year, but I would have initially said Pantera would be cool to hear from again. Again, you're missing two very key members. However, the original bassist and the voice of Pantera are still with us, and as of recently, this year they're on tour together, and Zakk Wylde's playing guitar for him and stuff. So Pantera has reunited in some form. Now they haven't put out new music, but I initially would have said Pantera. Still, I guess you could say they haven't put out new music in a long time. And again, that's kind of iffy because what Dime and Vinny meant to Pantera, it's almost kind of sacrilegious to say that they should make new music without them, because is that really Pantera? That kind of thing. Another one, Mos Def and Talib Kweli made a two-man group called Black Star back in 1998, and that album was incredible. They recently put out a new album just last year, their first album since '98. So there again, I will say there is a band that is notorious for taking long breaks in between albums, and there's a couple bands actually. They have the same front
like the long break that you should have taken between your first one
Yes.
name of the band, and everybody else's turn.
Yes. I'm not naming off. I'm saying this is my prelude.
Okay.
Now here's my first submission.
That's your prelude?
That's
you
my
gave
prelude.
three bands for your
Pantera
prelude.
and Black.
Okay.
Because they have put out shit. Shut up. Anyway, A Perfect Circle and Tool are fronted by Maynard James Keenan, and both notorious, like I said, for taking long
That's my
breaks.
nickname now is A Perfect Circle.
So anytime either one of them put out a new album, I'm excited, and it always feels like it's been a long time. So A Perfect Circle specifically, I enjoyed just a little bit more. And 2018 doesn't seem like a super long time ago, but that was their last album. So I guess anytime they put out something new, I'd be interested to hear from them. So what about you, Brian?
I would like to hear Nick, and this band is on their what seems to be their final farewell tour, and we are going to go see the current lineup in October with your lovely mom.
Yep.
Kiss. But I would like to see a new Kiss album with the original 4 members. They're all older guys now. However, Ace especially is still sharp. He's on his game. He's sober. I've seen him on tour a few times. Again, these are all guys in their 70s. Right?
Cleveland.
I think Peter Criss might be almost 80 now. So you're not going to go out and put an album out like 1973. However, I think it'd be very
they're
cool
all 73.
No, they're more than that. They're older than that.
Are they really? Jesus.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, shit, they started in 1973 and they're kids in their 20s, early 20s or older. Anyway, I think it would have been cool to have, like, on the farewell tour, the original 4 got back together, made a few new Kiss songs, and they could have reunited,
It's weird
at least brought out the Ace and Peter on some of these shows. It's really a shame and a kind of a missed opportunity. It never would have happened, but this is stuff we would have liked to have seen. All 4 guys are still alive. That would have been cool, and I think that album would have sold like crazy.
It's just weird that, like, their egos are so bad that, like, you can't get together just to record a few songs.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? For the end of the career, that's strange.
I think it's primarily a Gene and Ace situation, isn't it? Mainly, that's the real.
Yeah, I mean, Ace wants money, and it's just really weird. It's really a shame. And you go back and look, you see some of these old photos online, that I've liked a few. I get these in my feeds all the time, but you see these guys and they're super young, no money, trying to build something, and they really built some huge phenomenon and just lost it and just couldn't get back together. So anyway, that's what I'd like to. That's one I would like to see. The original 4, the new original 4 Kiss album.
All right,
Dean.
All right, let me rattle off 4 or 5 in a row. Yeah, I got one. Like Foghat. Who's next?
Foghat.
All right.
What was their last album?
Are they still alive? I don't know. I'm not sure. I think they are.
1979.
It looks like it was like
be.
2017 might have been. They put out an album.
They put out Foghat put out an album in 2017.
Yeah, the motherfucker was called
Shit.
They put a compilation one out this year. Yeah, 2017, the album. Or 8 Days on the Road in 2021. Under the Influence in 2016. Yeah, they're still doing it.
All right,
Fuck they are.
All right. Well, 2021, it's not a long stint that they hadn't put something out. So, yeah.
Well, they should put something out every year.
They should. Nick, what else you got?
I've got one for you. Here's Okay, so if this band is so insistent on continuing, despite what they sound like, Motley Crue, please, for the love of God, reunite with John Corabi and continue this, if you must. If you must, do it with John Corabi, which was the singer for one album.
Yes.
Which was, 90? That album came out in 94, 95, the self-titled Motley Crue album.
Yeah.
And it's a good album. It's a good album. People kind of tended to shit on it because it didn't have Vince and it was a different voice. John Corabi's not one of those, sometimes bands will replace a iconic singer with someone who sounds similar to them. See Journey, AC/DC, whatever, similar vocal style.
Mm-hmm.
John Corabi did not sound at all. He was not singing the same octave, didn't sound anything like Vince Neil, so people tended to they didn't like that album. Plus, it was early to mid 90s now. Sounds were changing, and this was kind of a little bit more. It was a different style. It kind of favored John Corabi's voice a little bit better. But he was a good vocalist, and I feel like if you must continue to tour Motley Crue, you got to do something about Vince Neil.
Yeah,
and I'm sorry to say, I know the poor man. I'm sure he's a fine individual, and it's not, but it just can't be done anymore. I mean, people are still forking over money, so apparently it can, but it's just not. It doesn't sound good. So, if Motley Crue has to, I would say do it with John Corabi. That would be one of mine.
I like that. Like that.
Brian,
I'm going to give you. I saw a video clip. You can find this probably on TikTok or otherwise. I can't remember which feed I saw it in, but somebody shot a video. It was Robert Plant in a jazz club somewhere singing some type of jazz version of, I think it was Black Dog or something like that. Go find this
awesome.
out. So
if you find that, share that.
Yeah, I will. It's like a jazz band playing behind him. It's a small club somewhere.
That'd be kick-ass.
So I don't know where he was. It looked like he might have been like in New Orleans or something like that.
That makes sense.
And he got up on stage and was singing this version. I'm like, man, that was cool. And I thought, it'd be kind of cool because all of Led Zeppelin, obviously except for John Bonham, is still alive. You can have his son come out and play.
Yep.
And just again, you're not gonna get the mid '70s sound of Led Zeppelin. It's just not gonna happen. These guys are all older men, right?
Yep.
But just do something kind of lower key, even. Robert Plant he just can't. You can't sing like you did, all those years ago. It's impossible, right? But just
he comes out like a deep voice crooner.
Yeah, but just even something like we're going to play different versions of our classic, or just do something cool and different.
Finding the stairway
whatever.
To heaven.
But it's new music from Led Zeppelin. People would listen to it regardless of what it is. So I think that would be kind of interesting. Just some type of retooled, easier vibe version of Led Zeppelin with the guys, older men today, but they're still, I'm sure, could play and sing. There you go.
Yeah.
Yep. Dean, anything else?
Real quick, look for the video. It's a really cool video. It was Foo Fighters on doing a concert, and what's his name? Never gonna leave you up, let you down.
Rick Astley.
Rick Astley was drunk in the front row. They had the whatever security guard come get him, bring him up on stage because they were working on that song. So they brought him on the stage and he sang with them. It's a cool fucking video. Yeah,
that's great.
Check that out. Look for it. My next one, it's kind of it's a toss up. I got one. This is my last one. Either Casey and the Sunshine Band or Korn. Either one. I'm good with.
There you go.
Maybe a collaboration between the two. It's just
that would be fucking awesome.
That'd be fine.
That'd be great.
That'd be great. What the kids say, that would be fire.
Fire.
Mm-hmm.
Fire.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's what they say, right, Nick?
That is what they say. That's what we. That's good. What we, the youths, say.
You youths. Fire.
Yeah. Right. Yep.
It's
what else you got, Nick? Anything else?
So finally, this is the most glaring example. I will catch all the shit for this, but I don't care. Okay. Oftentimes, when very successful groups disband and one of the members becomes very popular, very famous on their own, much like Justin Timberlake did, it tends to
what's going to happen to this podcast.
It hinders a reuniting. But this world, more than anything, needs to get together. They need to get on the same page, and we need to go in the same direction. One direction, you might say. Harry Styles' fame, I feel, has kept them from that a little bit. But we need new One Direction music. God damn it! Give me what I want. Give us all what we want. I need new music from One Direction. They're all there. We need all those beautiful boys back together, making beautiful boy music together. Come on, give it to me.
There you go. I like
Beautiful
it.
Come on,
boys.
something.
Beautiful boys, give it to me. Come on.
I like it. Last one I'll give you. How about a new Black Sabbath album before it's too late? They did have a new 2013. I think it was 2013, something like that. It was Black Sabbath 13, the 13th album they did. They're all still alive.
That's a pretty good way to end it, though.
All the original members are still alive.
13.
Yeah, and that's a good
get
album. It is a good album. Don't get me wrong.
But
I'm just saying
you
that,
still more time.
One more time before it's too late, because it's the health and everything else, and I don't even know if they all can physically play anymore. And I hate to say that, like I'm not sure if Tony Iommi could even play guitar that much anymore.
Would you go to a concert like that with all of them? Like if they're unable to play, so they all just sit in wheelchairs, stare at the crowd, and you play the original track. Would you go see that? I would. They're just staring up, drooling, looking at the crowd.
I don't know that I would be into that necessarily. I mean,
not at that level.
If they're there standing in place, pretend playing instruments, I'd be like, and you knew it, I'd be like, yeah, fuck it.
Fucking encore. They feed them pudding. I'm game for this.
Yeah, not quite at that level, but yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's it. All right, good stuff here, guys. It's a whole other question we could save for another time here. You mentioned that watching the band not perform, like these hologram shows. I wonder if these are going to continue to get more popular, where you go up and you could watch a hologram performance of your favorite artist. If that would be something that you would be interested in pay to go see, we can maybe talk about that on another episode. But yeah,
I'll give you a preview. You give me the hologram of the '68 comeback special of Elvis.
Oh yeah,
take my goddamn money.
Sure. It seems like it's made for Vegas. I don't know. It just seems like it should be something that happens if they can get the technology and the rights and everything else.
Let's go.
That would be cool. That would be very cool. All right. Well, if there's albums out there for bands that today that you'd like to hear, we'd like to hear your comments in email or post to our social media.
Zennial Dean, Gen X Brian, Millennial Nick. If you like what you saw, like and subscribe.
This will probably, I would say, for the next 2 weeks at least. I probably will not be here the next 2 weeks.
So we have like 2 weeks of doing like good shows.
Yeah, something like that.
Good.
I mean, you didn't choose to do it the last 2 weeks that I was gone, so try again, I guess.